Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV, wherever you are in the world. It is, of course, Monday morning. The sun is shining, but is the sun shining on Tottenham Hotspur? It's the day after the North London derby before, and unfortunately, Tottenham Hotspur huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed and huffed and puffed and didn't have anything, as usual, to blow anybody's house down. Tottenham Hotspur are now in a very, very bad run of form. Whether or not we want to say it's the beginning of this season, add it to the end of last season, going back 4 months, 5 months, 10 months, the form is poor. Now, where do we start with this? It's really very difficult because Ange Postecoglou is going to take the brunt of it. Of course he is. He's the manager of this club. Managers, whether it's Ange, whether it's Ancelotti, whether it's Pep, whether it's Klopp, whether it's Arteta, whoever it may be, managers live and die in football terms by their decisions, by their tactics, by their process, by their signings, by their results. They live and die by their results. And unfortunately, Ange's results are dreadful, whichever way we want to dress this up. And I see videos where people, these fans are on a bandwagon. No fans are on a bandwagon. Some of us have been saying this for a very, very long time. And let's look at it. Do we want Ange sacked? Lots of people do. Lots of people don't. And then there's people in the middle that realise, what difference will it make? Now, whichever one of those three categories you sit in, that doesn't change the fact that Ange is not doing a good job. And this is what matters. Ange's facts, his stats, his data, for however far you want to go back, is worse than nearly every manager we've had since we last won a trophy. In nearly every department. For some reason, that's looked upon as, don't worry about the results. Don't worry about that. And I am going to worry about that because there are managers who have done better than this, that fans wanted out this football club. Ange is loved. Ange has got this PR machine. And I don't blame everything at Tottenham Hotspur on Ange. I love it when people say, you blame Ange for the last 10, 20 years. Of course I don't. I blame Ange for the last year. I don't blame Ange for anything that pre-Ange. I just do not, this is me personally, I do not rate Ange Postecoglou as a manager. I think the man talks a hell of a lot. I think he talks so much that he's talking himself into the sack. And what I mean by that is if you keep telling the world, I win everywhere in my second year. Okay. Right? I win everywhere in my second year. Cool. There is no reason why we can't challenge for a title. Okay. Well, you better bloody do those things then. You better challenge for a title. You better win something because you're telling everybody this is what you do and this is what we're capable of. If you're telling me we're capable of challenging for a title and we don't, that's on you. Now, I don't think we're capable of challenging for a title, but the manager's basically saying, I've got the players good enough to challenge for a title. I'm capable in my management abilities to challenge for a title. Okay, then challenge for the title. If you don't, you have failed by your own metric of what you're telling the fans. Now, people will have a go at me about this. They will, of course they will, and I get that. But the guy can't keep saying these things, then failing spectacularly and still getting the backing of everybody. This manager's done really poor, and we're going to break it down in a minute. And then we're going to also break down the players and the fans and Daniel Levy and Lang, because this isn't just on Ange. The performances, the results are on Ange. The way the club is run is not on Ange. But there is lots of blame to go around. And unfortunately, the merry-go-round that is Tottenham Hotspur just keeps going. It keeps going. It never stops. It never stops and we all go, this is good. Unfortunately, Ange Postecoglou, for me, and for many other fans, he is living off of 10 good games at the beginning of last season. He is living off those 10 games. Because since then, his record is absolutely diabolical. He is living off those 10 games. And the funny thing is, everyone who keeps telling me he's a great manager, lots of people that have come into my chat for the last year, so many of them now won't come to my channel. I know who they are, right? Sava, you don't know Ange. I love this. You don't understand Ange. Sure. In Ange's second year, okay. Ange will tweak things, sure. Right? All of these things they've said have been categorically wrong. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know the problem is, people double down on it. For example, if I sit here now and say categorically, Liverpool will win the league. I don't think that, by the way. I think Man City will. If I sit here and say, hypothetically, Liverpool will win the league. If Liverpool don't win the league, I can't sit here and go, but. I have to sit here and go, got that wrong. Hands up, I got that wrong. The problem is, these people that are so far on this journey and this Ange train, this hype from this manager that's doing really badly, they can't turn around and go, yeah, we're worried. They can't do it. They can't turn around and go, God, these results aren't good, are they? They double down. Oh, don't worry, we've got possession. Don't worry, field tilt. Still don't know what it is. No one can tell me. I still don't get it. Possession, chances created, pressing. Ange is brilliant. It's like football we've not seen before. No one can actually come out and tell the truth. When did Ali Gold come out and tell the truth? I like Ali Gold. I think he's a really good reporter. But when do channels like that, when do people who are associated to the club come out and say, this is bad? This form is bad. And I'm going to go through this form in a minute with you. But this is bad. So I'm not having a pop at Ali Gold. I like Ali Gold. But this is the problem. The people that are mainstream reporting to the Spurs fans aren't telling the truth. And then you've got all these YouTube debates going on, blah, blah, blah. And you've got people that just say, I love Ange. Cool. All right. Why? I just like him. All right. But why? The football's not good. The results aren't good. The form's not good. The signings aren't good. Can I get a reason? No. No reason. Just I love Ange. Cool. Now, what I've seen yesterday, I've started to see the turn. And a lot of people that have been having a pop at me and a pop at others throughout the summer, starting to say, and this is what, do you know what Perchie told me this? Perchie said, Sava, you wait. Sorry, Perchie, if you didn't want this said. I've said it now. Perchie said to me in the summer, you wait. What will happen is when the penny drops with fans that have been ultra positive for ultra positive's sake without any evidence to back up anything they're saying, what they'll all start doing is they'll all start going, I'm not saying sack him, but. And yesterday, that's the line. Perchie said that is what they will say. I'm not saying sack him, but. And I'm seeing all these people now, the people that before the summer, great window. Ange is a genius. Spurs can win a league title. We're going to win 3 trophies. All of a sudden, I'm not saying sack him, but, and that's fine, right? You're coming around to that way of thinking. But maybe then, don't be so quick to have a pop at those that actually look at facts and evidence. Maybe don't be so quick to have a look at those of us that use our eyes, then use the results and go, this isn't working. Yeah? It's great being ultra positive. It's great, but that's not the truth in life, is it? I always say this. I can turn around to my wife and say, don't worry, we're winning the Euro Millions Friday. I can be as positive as I like about it. Doesn't mean it's happening. And that's what's happening at Tottenham. So many fans are just brushing aside the crap football we're seeing. And it is crap. It is side to side, boring, monotonous crap. And we're going to get to that. But they're brushing this under the carpet with the, well, who do we get in? Sorry, what do you mean? Who do we get in that's better than a manager that's underperforming? Many managers. What do you mean, many managers? Look at managers like Thomas Frank. Pound for pound, look how much Brentford spend, the players they lose every year, and look how well structured they are as a football team. And before people childishly come back and go, oh, we always finish above them. Of course we always finish above them. They are a selling club that don't have the greatest players. The manager picks up players from all over the world, very cheap, and gels them into an organised unit. I'm just using him as an example, right? I'm not saying go and get Thomas Frank. I'm just using that as an example. And then you've got our manager that has spent nearly £400 million and we're going backwards. Since the 10 games up here, it's done this. And I'm going to get you the facts to prove it. People keep saying to me, you're disingenuous. What about the first 10 games of last year? Guys, I could go back 5 games to prove this. 10 games, 15, 20, 25, 30. How many games do we have to go back to prove how bad this manager is doing before people stop talking about the first 10 games of last season? Let's have a look at this, shall we? And first of all, I want to go through some facts. And then after that, what I want to do is I'm going to bring up a couple of screenshots of things that have been sent to me that I agreed with. And first of all, I want to start with this. Tottenham Hotspur in the last 22 games, right? That is from January the 1st, okay? Our last 22 games since January the 1st. So I'm going for all of 2024. Tottenham Hotspur have drawn 4, won 8, and lost 10, right? We have lost 10 of 22 games of football. So we're just under 50% in defeats, right? When you look at that, one of those 10 wins, one of those 8 wins, was against the top half side. That means that 7 of those were against the bottom half. So before we go, this football is great, this manager's great. This manager is beating clubs in the bottom half of the table. He's not beating anyone he shouldn't. The anomaly is the Aston Villa game where we won up there. They had 10 men. We won 4-0, 4-1, whatever it was. Great win. I'm not knocking it. But that's the anomaly. Everyone else was the Lutons, the Sheffield Uniteds, the Burnleys, the Wolves. Everyone, sorry, not Wolves. You know what I mean? Everyone else, it was these really poor teams that got relegated or were in relegation battles, Nottingham Forests. So on that front, how's he doing well? For 2024, this form is awful. If we go on to look at that, in 2024, do you know how many away games this man has won? How many away games? I'll go back even further. In our last 16 away games, he's won 2 of them. 2. In his overall Spurs managerial career, he's won 22 games of football. Okay? He's won 22 games of football. And there they are. Bournemouth twice. Burnley 3 times. Sheffield United twice. Luton twice, Palace twice, Forest twice, Everton twice. Now, there's a couple of good ones. I mean, United weren't great last year, but a couple of good ones in there. Liverpool against 10 men. Newcastle was a great win. Villa was a great win, right? But other than that, look at the games this manager is able to win. So 15 of his 22 wins have been against the bottom half of the table. In our last 32 games, Spurs have picked up 44 points. Just for your information, when you average that out over a season, that is on average finishing between 12th and 14th in the table. 32 games. That is a huge sample size, by the way. That is a huge sample size. When people go, oh, you've cherry-picked. What, 32 games? That's nearly a whole season. As I said, last 5 games, poor. Last 10 games, poor. 15, 20, 25, 30. I don't know how far we have to go back to show how poor The evidence is on this manager. He's lost 16 games overall at Spurs. 16 games he's lost as manager of Tottenham Hotspur. He's got a 47% win rate. 47. Now, for context, that's lower than any other Spurs manager in the last 16 years in their first 42 games in the Premier League. So again, you're going in the right direction. Everything's changing. Free-flowing football. He's got a lower win percentage than all of those managers since we last won a trophy in their first 42 games. The facts don't lie. By the way, in his career, this is his second lowest win percentage in the 10 managerial jobs he's had. Since Melbourne victory in 2012-2013, when his win percentage was 46%. So this is his second worst performance. So again, look at all of that information. And I'm sure people will go, oh, you've manipulated facts and stats. No one can come back to me to unmanipulate them, if you will. I know that's not a word, but no one can come back to me and say, actually, look at these games he's won. No one can do it. You know why? The evidence doesn't exist. The facts don't lie. This is Ange. This is his stats in London derbies. 14 London derbies played. 14 London derbies played. And look at this. He's lost 7 of them and drawn 3. So of 10 of his 14 London derbies played, he's not won. And yet all I hear is, and look who they were against: Palace, Fulham and Brentford. So he's not managed to beat West Ham once, Chelsea once, Arsenal once. I was told that other than Arsenal, all these other clubs are crap. Why can't Ange beat any of them? Why are the London derbies not important to him? Why are we not doing well in London derbies? Why? Look, I want to move on to the players. Look, this might sound, and I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get loads of people say, oh, your agenda. First of all, when children in my chat say to me, you've got an agenda against Ange, why would I have? Why would I not want any manager that comes in here to win every game and win Spurs trophies? What? Why? You have an agenda. What? Because of what? What? Because of his nationality? Because of the league he's come from? Because I don't like his style? I don't get it. What is the agenda? Why would I have an agenda? I was told I had an agenda against Conte. Why? These things don't make sense. What you're going to have to this video is 50% of the people are going to watch this video and go, yeah, you're right. The facts and stats are rubbish. The other 50% are going to go, oh, you're always moaning. Give Ange time. It's going to turn around. It's going to click. I'm going to ask this. I'm going to look at the players. And we're all guilty of this, by the way. When a game finishes, we all analyse and we go, oh, it was Sarr. Oh, it was Johnson. It was Romero. It was Son. It was Maddison. Pick your player. Pick whoever you want. It was Adoghi's fault. Vicario's rubbish. Porro was out of position. Right. We could do that all day long with any of these players. But I'm going to look at it from another point of view. We rave about these players. You are Spurs fans. Joint Spurs Arsenal 11. Oh, Porro gets in. Adoghi gets in. Van de Ven gets in. Romero gets in. Son gets in. This player gets in. Maddison gets in. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. All right. We rave about these players. Why are none of them playing well? Why are none of them playing well? Why is this manager not getting the best out of any of them? Arguably, other than Van de Ven, and that's because this system suits him to a T. Who else is he getting the best out of? Who else can you look at in this calendar year since January? I mean, I could go back to December and November of last year, but I'm only going as far as 2024 here. Who can you look at and go, God, they've been brilliant for Spurs? You know, if we were going to look and say, let's use Maddison, for example. Oh, my God, Maddison's been awful. And we can say, oh my God, but Johnson's been great, Son's been great, Solanke's great, Bentancur's been great, but Maddison's not performed. I get it. But we're sitting here the other way around going, well, who has performed? Who has performed consistently for Tottenham Hotspur in that period of time? And I'll go through it. Vicario, massive question marks. Massive question marks about this guy. He doesn't dominate his box. He parries out to into the 6-yard box. His passing out from the back is, everyone's doing this all the time. Anyway, he's our keeper. That's that. Let's have a look. Who's he getting the best out of? Porro and Udogie. Let's group them together as fullbacks. You've got 2 wing-backs playing as fullbacks. Both of them aren't defensive. Both of them, their best attributes are going forward. Defensively, they're both pretty naive, if we're going to be honest. Very good footballers, but very naive as defenders. Huge difference. Before people go, oh, Sava doesn't rate Porro and Udogie. You've got to listen to the words I'm saying, right? He's not getting the best out of them. I don't see Porro and Udogie with loads of assists bombing forward in this tactic. What I do see is loads of wingers getting in behind Porro and Udogie constantly. Yesterday, look at that first half. Constantly. Martinelli and Timber in behind Porro. Constantly. And I'm not blaming Porro. Porro's a good footballer. For me, you're going to hear this a lot in this video, completely being utilised in the wrong way. He is a wing-back. He is not a full-back. Udogie, I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Porro, by the way. I think Udogie's another one that got hyped up massively last year. But he looks like, since last year, he looks like he's going that way as well. I'm not having a go at him. He's just not playing well. There's no games where I'm going, oh, he's good. He gives the ball away a lot. He's constantly out of position. He was knocked off the ball twice yesterday by Saka, who's about that big. So I don't think he's getting the best out of them at all. Yeah, Porro's going to get forward and score some screamers. But essentially, they're in the team as part of a back four. Romero puts on an Argentina shirt, looks absolutely superb. Defends for his life, hardly any mistakes, wins the headers, marks his man properly, doesn't switch off. Put him in a Spurs shirt. He's been dreadful this season. I thought he had a really good game yesterday, but he's dreadful because he switched off again. He switched off at Leicester. He switched off twice for Newcastle. He switched off yesterday. But I'm not saying Romero's a bad defender. Romero's a very good defender. But again, Ange isn't getting the best out of him. So what's going on? Van der Ven. Van der Ven is the one where I think you could say he will get more glory than the others purely because, and I really like Van der Ven, he will get more glory than the others and more headlines than the others because the ball over the top, he's constantly rescuing us. How many times yesterday the ball goes over the top, he wins the foot race and mops up. But is that getting the best out of Van der Ven? Are we wasting his abilities? I don't know. But let's move into midfield. Bentancur. How hit and miss has Bentancur been? Yes, injuries. But when he's been playing, and he's been playing a lot, consistency isn't there. People are arguing, is he a 6? Is he an 8? Is his best position defensive? Is his best position as a ball-playing midfielder? I don't know. Basuma, again, consistency. Ange isn't getting the best out of Bentancur or Basuma. Basuma being used as a 6. He's not a 6. He's a box-to-box midfielder. But he's hardly played there. So is Ange getting the best out of him? No. Sarr. I mean, I don't rate Sarr, so this is difficult for me. But Sarr's another one. Even when I thought he had some promise a year and a half or so ago, I'm watching him now and his performances have just gone like that. Looks rubbish on the ball, out of position, gives it away. I don't know who he gets the best out of. Now we look at our so-called better players. James Maddison. James Maddison has fallen off a cliff. He's not the only one, but he's fallen off a cliff. This formation for me doesn't get the best out of James Maddison. I'm going to go on to Son and that, by the way, in a minute. But for me, this stifles him. This stifles him. I've seen some really good pieces on James Maddison in the last week from pundits and pros where they're saying Maddison wants space to operate in, and this formation means everybody plays in the same area. And the guy who I did my coaching badges with many years ago, he always used to say, if people were too close together, move apart. Otherwise, I could throw a blanket over all of you. And what he meant by that was they're all too close together. James Maddison wants space to operate in. James Maddison wants runners and space. Instead, everyone comes into the middle. Adogi's going in there. Porro's going in there. Bentancur and Basuma are pushing in there. Son's dropping in there. Kulu's coming in there. Solanke's dropping. There's too much going on in one area. But I'm not absolving him or Bentancur or Basuma or Romero of their own blame, but he's not getting the best out of any of them. Now look at Son. This isn't Son. This is not the Son we know and love. This is a watered-down version of a top footballer. Now, yes, age. He's going to change as he gets into his, 32, 33? As he gets to that age, yeah, your game changes slightly. You might lose a little bit of pace. I don't mean raw pace, but pace when you've got the ball. Very different thing to pace when you haven't got the ball. But he's nullified out there on the left. He's absolutely nullified. I'm not blaming Son for this. I've never seen Son so stagnant. And what I mean by that is gets the ball, cuts in, passes 5 yards. Gets the ball, cuts in, passes 5 yards. And the number of times yesterday he's one-on-one with Ben White or one-on-one with Saka and you're saying, take him like he used to. Take him on. Nope, cut in. So again, I'm not having a go at Son or Maddison or Benta or Basuma or Romero. Please understand what I'm saying. This, for me, goes on the manager. He is not getting the best out of any of them. Brennan Johnson, another player I don't rate. But lots of people will tell you, and I'm happy to listen to this point of view, but he's not a winger. He's a forward that wants to run in behind. So he's not getting the best out of him. Solanke, for me, has looked very average in the first 2 games. I'm not going to go into Solanke, though. He's had 2 games in a Spurs shirt. But Kulu, nullified for me. Kulu, absolutely nullified. I'll ask the question, who is he getting the best out of? Who? So, when I talk about this, I know people think it's just having a go at everyone. I'm not having a go at everyone. I'm concerned that I think the players we've got are better than what we're showing. I don't believe in any way, shape or form that these players are not capable of beating top half teams. Do I think we can win the league? No. Do I think we should have a God-given right for top 4? No. But should we be only beating one top 10 team in 10 months? No. Should we be this easy to play against? And when I'm saying easy, I keep hearing, oh, we're great until the final third. No, we're not. We just have a lot of the football. Stats, possession, all the underlying stats. What about the real stats? The underlying stats show that we're good. And when it clicks, we're not creating clear-cut chances. The results are not going our way. I don't know what to say anymore about this club. I genuinely don't know where we go from here. I get it. People don't want to sack the manager. I get it, because they don't want to start again. I get it. But is that a reason enough to not sack a manager that's doing badly? And before people say, oh, you're having a go at him and he's not doing badly, he's doing worse than all the other managers before him. The facts tell you that. So it's that, does Levy sack him? Levy's got previous of sacking managers for this. Levy's got previous of sacking managers for doing better than what Ange's doing now. Then you've got the people that give it time, have patience, it will come good. I don't know what that's based on. It's based on pure faith, because there's nothing to suggest we're getting better. I don't want to hear about field tilt, stats, possession, pressing. That's not what wins you games. I think the moment the manager turned around and said as well, that he wasn't so concerned with the goals we're conceding. The aim is to score more than the other team. It just felt to me that was very Sunday League-ish. And look, players not performing, players not happy. The manager's not performing. The manager doesn't look happy. He looks ratty in his interviews now. The fun, bubbly Ange Postecoglou has gone, and we've now got the short, snappy, having a go at reporters, not liking their questions because they're questioning the goals we concede or the games we lose. So Ange doesn't look happy. There's the manager. The players don't look happy. He's alienated the likes of Reguilon, Spence. They're not going to be happy. Bergvall and Gray, the summer signings, they're not getting minutes. They're not going to be happy. Fans are starting to turn in big numbers now. Fans are not going to be happy. There's always going to be fans that are happy, and that's fine. If people want to celebrate failure and like losing more than they like winning, fine, celebrate it. Sure, if people have got a bigger vision than I've got, fine, all for it. Knock yourselves out, no problem with that. But I don't see it. I don't see this process that keeps getting talked about. I don't see this wonderful manager with this wonderful style of play and this unicorn way of gracing a football pitch. I don't see it. I see a very average team. And what's worse than all of this, guys, is clubs are not having to play well to beat us. When I keep hearing, but we're dominating, we deserve to win this game, that game, that game. Newcastle, let's be honest, they were really poor. Didn't have to do a lot, beat us. Arsenal yesterday. Arsenal, perfect game plan to beat Spurs. We said it. Give Spurs the ball. They weren't bothered about possession. Give Spurs the ball. Let's try and counter. Let's try and counter. Now, they didn't score from a counter, but that's all they did. And we couldn't break them down. And we've got Brentford next week. This manager's got to win that game. For me, I think Ange is very lucky right now. And what I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If you have a look at this. Let's see. Can you see that? Right. If you have a look at this. I mean, look at Spurs down here. This is atrocious. This is absolutely atrocious, by the way, right? 4 points after 4 games. And we've played Newcastle, who were there for the taking, Leicester and Everton. And a North London derby. Look at this. This is appalling. Right? That wasn't what I was going to show you. Let's have a look down here. So, for me, I think Ange is lucky. Now, don't take this the wrong way, but we've got Coventry and Brentford, as you see there. Right? We've got Coventry and Brentford, followed by Qarabağ. Now, should we be winning all 3? We should. Will we? I don't know anymore. Brentford at home should be a banker. But you know what? Look at the way they're playing. They're going to have 5 at the back. They're going to say, try and break us down. And they're going to do to us what they did to Man City. And very effectively hit them on the break with the pace they've got. They're well organised. They're well drilled at the back. Now, Spurs could come out and win this 2-3-0. But at the moment, we don't look like beating anybody, let alone beating anybody comfortably. But Ange has now got Coventry, Brentford and Qarabağ. For me, that has to be 3 wins. If it's not, this guy's got to go because the football is awful. Now, I'll ask you this. I really do like doing these videos because you do get a lot of sensible people that want to chat football. And I love that. You get some idiots as well that just say stupid things and can't really think before they type. But I'm going to ask this question, and this question's to everyone. What has to happen? If you are Ange out, what does he need to do in the next few months to change your mind to be Ange in? And if you are Ange in, what does he need to do? What needs to happen for you to change your mind and finally realise this isn't working? I'd love to know from both sides, but please give me a detailed football answer. We can all call each other idiots. It's fine. It doesn't do anything. We can call each other idiots. We can say you're not real fans, blah, blah, blah. I want to know from both sides of the story what needs to happen for him to turn it around and what needs to happen at Spurs for people to get on board with the fact that it's not going well. So both sides there. Let me hear from you. The last thing I'll say is this. I'm not going to name this person, but this is a WhatsApp that I got in a WhatsApp group. And I couldn't agree more with this. And this is worrying. I'm going to end it on this. Everything is wrong. Results, form, way of playing, recruitment, lack of using the young players, obsession with playing Kulu everywhere. It's true, isn't it? Up front, right wing, midfield, obsession with Johnson, shouldn't be in the team. The nullification of Maddison, we've got a number 10 and don't know how to use him. Team mentality, set pieces, media relations. And the last bit just talks a bit about how he treated previous players like Jed Spence and Giovanni Lo Celso. But all of that is true. I'm worried. I genuinely don't see how Tottenham have a good season. After 4 games, I don't see how we have a good season. And a defeat to Brentford leaves us miles behind everyone in the top 4. Right? Let's be brutally honest. Right? If we have a look at this league table, this is the problem. It starts to form very, very early. Let's have a look. Look at that league table. Let me see if I can blow that up for you a little bit. God, if I blow it up too much, so I can't even blow it up because I can't get Spurs in there. That's how bad we are. I can't blow it up because I can't get Spurs in there. So have a look at this. The Brentford game is huge. We're already 5 points off of the top 4 or 5. Right? If you look at Villa and Liverpool, and they're on 9 points. If we lose to Brentford and those teams start going into the double digits, into the 11 points, the 12 points, the 13 points, we're already 8, 9, 10 points behind the teams that we're meant to be rivaled with. Now, people can go, oh, it's only 4 games, we'll make it up. But if you don't beat Brentford, suddenly the season takes on a whole different meaning. A whole different meaning. Guys, girls, I'm going to leave it there. Look, I'm just a very disappointed Spurs fan that I saw this coming. The writing's been on the wall for many, many months. Lots of people want to bury their head in the sand. I get it. Lots of people want to look at the positive side. I can't see the positives. I'll be honest. I can't see them at all. I can't even pretend that it's a youth project when he's not playing the Bergvals and the Greys. I can't even pretend that. So for me, I don't know what's going on at the club. And the one person we haven't talked about there, we've talked about the fans. We've talked about the manager. We've talked about the players. The one person we haven't talked about is, it's hard to talk about Daniel Levy, right? Because Daniel Levy, we said, is anyone happy at Spurs? Is Daniel Levy happy? Is Daniel Levy going to be happy with all of what's going on? The number of defeats constantly, the lack of wins. He's got previous. He's got 24 years of previous of sacking managers when things aren't going well. Now, the argument is that this is all his making. Sure, I agree. The argument is that this is the way he's run the club for 24 years. Agreed. But this is why I can't see Ange lasting long, because of Daniel Levy. Whether we like him, whether we hate him, that man can wake up any day and go, this is my decision. And we don't have a say in it. So Daniel Levy has got a lot to be held accountable for, but he's got previous. So I'll end on this. Is anyone at Spurs happy? Is the manager happy? I don't think so. Are the players happy? I don't think so. Chairman? Who knows? Fans? 50-50 split. All I know is there's a lot more unhappiness than there is happiness at Tottenham right now. And a lot of people who predicted we were going to come out and get 10 to 12 points from our first 4 games, we were going to sweep everyone aside, that we were breathtaking going forward. It's not materialised. This manager, for me, if he wants to save himself from the sack, needs to start tweaking. He needs to change the style, the formation, and he needs to change it soon. Otherwise, it won't matter whether you want him to stay, I want him to stay, you want him sacked, I want him sacked. None of that will matter. He will get himself the sack. Take care, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs.